Good morning. We'll go ahead and call the regular session of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, also sitting as Special Taxing District, November 6th, 2023. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yes, Speaker Riley.
There we go.
You say I thought those were opposite.
Yeah, they were supposed to be.
We'll go ahead and move on to call to the public. Call to the public is held for public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or rescheduling the matter for future discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email at publiccommент@yumacountyaz.gov. The email forms of public comment will be accepted until 8 a.m. the morning of the meeting. All public comments will be read out loud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisors meeting that starts at 9 a.m. Desiree, do we have any emails? No, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I know most of these people are here for an item in the agenda that we're not going to be discussing. I don't know if you want to keep them that long.
Well, I'm going to move that item right away.
All right.
But I do have speaker forms, and like 4 of them pertain to an item on the agenda. If they want to wait for that item, or they can speak at the call to the public. So I got Pat Hennington.
I'll wait for the item, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So I'm sure that all those for that item will probably wait till that item comes up. But I also have Alexa Liget.
Hello, Yuma County Board. My name is Alexis Liggett. I'm a passionate advocate and parent of a perfectly created limited edition child, one with disabilities. I'd like to talk about the upcoming park project, especially the playground, one that has the potential to be a symbol of Yuma County's commitment to equality and compassion. Firstly, play is not a privilege. It is a fundamental human right. Every child deserves the opportunity to play freely in publicly funded playgrounds. Inclusion is not an option. It's a principle that should guide every decision we make in public and building our community. If we deny children with mobility disabilities the chance to play and socialize in a park, we are denying them of the very essence of childhood, the chance to be treasured and included. In 2010, the ADA standards for accessible design was released, but we continue to build playgrounds out of compliance. We must acknowledge that gravel and sand playgrounds are not ADA compliant right now and should have transition plans. That would be the bare minimum. We cannot accept or continue to build playgrounds that are not accessible to all children, especially those who need these opportunities for socialization the most, not when there are universally designed pieces that all can enjoy. I'm proud to be a part of the Yuma Inclusive Play Project with the City of Yuma to bring universally designed playground equipment, ensuring that every child can enjoy the benefits of play, empathy, kindness, creativity, and humanity together. A testament to what can be achieved when we do not allow budget constraints to stop us. The initiative was a stark contrast to the conversation that I had with Yuma County's Parks and Rec a few months ago, thus the urgency of addressing accessibility in all our public spaces here today with you. Inclusive playgrounds are not a luxury. They are a necessity that for far too long have been misrepresented and lure in people with the false pretext of inclusion. We should not have playgrounds where only certain children can play, leaving others like my son, who is an adrenaline junkie, as mere spectators. Universally designed equipment is an investment in our children's present and our future. This means that inclusive spaces have the power to imprint an empathetic and nurturing nature for our future medical providers, teachers, leaders, and every other occupation in and out of this room. I can attest to this firsthand. For as long as I can remember, I've been complimented about how motherly and caring my daughter Alexa is, how she's always offering to help the new kid or the one struggling to hold their pencil and quick to befriend. Usually people have no idea why until they get the opportunity to meet her brother, AJ, and it hits them. These character traits are something we want to instill in all our children, our future, and what better way than by everyone playing together. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. I also have Isaac. Isaac.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
My name's Isaac, owner of Liggett Electrical. Also part of the Inclusive Play project for the city of Yuma. Just wanted to touch a little bit on what's inclusive. And inclusive doesn't mean my son can go, or anybody in a wheelchair can just go up and watch the other kids or adults play. It's actually a universally designed piece of equipment that everybody can enjoy, not just someone without a wheelchair or someone in a wheelchair. It's for everybody. And that sometimes it gets lost, where I've seen other parks where say inclusive, it's inclusive. And then we go out there, take my son there, and he can't even access the park. It's not inclusive, and it's not even ADA compliant. And she did touch on a little bit about it. In 2010, there was a law passed saying no gravel or sand in a playground. It is not acceptable anymore, period. And still today, I mean, a couple months ago, there's been a couple parks installed with gravel, and the main focus was inclusive. It's not even ADA compliant. How is it inclusive? So that's my two cents on that. So thank you.
Come on. Just state your name and.
This Liggett. I just wanted to say having the inclusive parks means so much to both me and my brother because both of us used to have to travel 3 hours to play on inclusive play equipment together. When we went to the parks here in Yuma, I felt happy to play at the park, but I was also sad because my little brother was only able to watch me play. But now we have the Castle Park that has one inclusive play equipment piece and 2 more coming. And why stop there when we can make all other parks inclusive? If anyone goes to a different park, then we can all still play. And why we want inclusive play equipment so no one is sad or left out. So let's make all parks inclusive.
Thank you. Your concerns are well taken. County manager, administrator will take notes of that, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you. Anybody else from the public? I know I see David. You want to come up?
Yeah, she's right there.
Good morning. My name's David Tansey, and so let me guys know we did a poker run on behalf of Bingham Equipment and Bingham Auto and Truck Parts, and we did the proceeds with going to Yuma Community Food Bank. During this, we had over 137 people participate through a 50-mile course going through the Yuma Desert. Good times, everybody. We serve tacos at the end, and it's just a very good turnout. We want to be. Our owner, Mr. Blaine Bingham, encourages us to always be involved in the community, and he instills that into all of us leaders. So we always want to do, we want to be involved in the community. So we raised a total of, got a check right here for Yuma Community Food Bank for a check for $3,120. We want to do more things like this involved with the community. Some of the other stuff we'd like to do is we want to do Yuma community pickups. So we pick County 19, Yuma Fortuna Dunes, where unfortunately some people like to leave trash behind. I would like to go there.
That's me.
We gotta take a picture though. We gotta memorialize it. So hold on.
You do. Yes, you do.
But I want to do some more stuff called to the community to actually do some pickups at some of these locations where people unfortunately leave trash. So I want to put a call out to people to come out. I'll pick out dates and we'll pick out different locations that we all go out there as a community and pick up. Let's try to keep Yuma cleaner. It's beautiful out here, guys. We have a beautiful place. I want to keep it cleaner.
All right.
Very good. Thank you. We need a picture.
If you guys can all get up in front right there.
Yeah, we want to take credit for that. Oh, in the back. Going down there.
No, just back here. Oh.
I'd be nervous if I were you. Okay, so. Is that a credit card in the back of your telephone? Yes. You can say cheese if you let us have it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Start at the end and work your way down.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is great job. Good job.
Yeah, I know, getting a check is always nice.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the call to the public? I'll go ahead and leave the call to the public open. And I'm gonna go off a little bit of the agenda, but we'll be back after this item on a regular schedule agenda. We'll move to the rezoning, regular public hearing items. Item number 1, special use permit case number 23-11.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Javier Barraza, senior planner, presenting special use permit case 23-11. As of this morning, we received an email with a request to withdraw special use permit 23-11. And the applicants are here if you want to hear more about it. So they're withdrawing the application as of this morning.
Well, I would say with that, Javier, if they're withdrawing, so I think this item is closed. Or do I don't need to open it to the public. Being that it's nothing to talk about, this item is closed, they withdrew, so we'll move on.
Is there any public request?
There are still people request to speak.
I mean,
But you're not opening the item.
the item it's withdrawn, so they're withdrawing their project. In order for them to, if they want to do it again, they got to reapply. So this whole process is going to have to start over. So, I mean, I got 4 speaker forms, or 3. If they want to talk,
Call to the
call
public
to
is
the
still.
public, or on this item,
Mr. Chairman.
it's just,
Pat.
I think we've heard a lot of emails that we got and concerns from people that, there's no action to take. There's no more solar that they're gonna, continue, or at least now, if they want to do it again, they gotta reapply and go through all the permits and everything, so. Yes.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say you had a hand from the back.
So, I'll do the 4 speaker forms that I have. And,
For that, we need to open up the item.
so,
Right.
So, which I'll open up the call to the public. But, this morning I heard a lot of people say that they took off time from work. If they want to go back to work, this item it's no longer something that's going to happen. But if you still want to speak, I mean, it's like I said, nothing, no action to take today. So, okay?
Mr.
All of-
Chairman?
Yes.
This will be public, open to the public.
Yeah.
It's not called to the public.
Or,
It's part of
yeah, open it up to the public.
discussion if you need to.
Pat?
Well,
Anything?
you wanna
Yes,
open it?
Maggie.
Would you like to hear from the applicant first?
I mean, yeah, sure. If you
Follow
want
the
to.
procedure.
So, we'll do it.
Pat, you get your chance. Just the applicant state his reason.
Chairman, members of the board, my name is Benjamin Graff with the law firm Quarles and Brady. We're at 2 North Central Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona. I represent Aeolus North America. For the record, Chairman, I agree with your initial interpretation that the item is closed because we withdrew. We don't have any need to make any further statements, but if you are going to open it up to the public, then we will make a statement. So we're fine with you closing out the hearing. That was the intent of our withdrawal. We're not surprised by that response. That's exactly the way I read the ordinance, is the item would be closed and not move forward. If you do open it for public comment, we'll make a statement. If you close the hearing out, then we don't need to make a statement.
Thank you. All right. I mean, I think there's people here
Yes.
that
Would like to speak.
like to
Yeah, you
speak, so,
need to make a statement.
so go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna open it up.
Okay, thank you. Then, and to make a brief statement this morning, then, I'm going to introduce Hans Christian Schultz from Aeolus. He's our United States manager of Aeolus. He'll make a brief statement regarding the withdrawal. So with that, I'll introduce Mr. Schultz.
Morning.
Good morning, Chairman Porteous and fellow supervisors. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to speak here this morning. As Ben said, I'm Hans Christian Schulze. I'm the lead for the United States for Aeolus, an energy development company. And we are suggesting to bring what we believe could be the largest investment into Yuma County, the Houdini project. It's an approximate 1.2 billion investment, private investment into the economy, and it would, what we believe, make the project the largest taxpayer in the county. Per studies that we have conducted, we believe that approximately $80 million of wages will be injected into the regional economy, of which a large portion of that will go to Yuma County residents. We will generate over $140 million in tax revenues over a long period of time that can be used to better serve citizens in Yuma. Tax revenues will be broken up into state taxes, $19 million, $65 million for Yuma County state taxes, $33.6 million for local cities, and $22.8 million for Yuma County school districts. Of course, as you guys know, this is on Arizona State Trust land, and with that, we will inject millions of dollars in lease payments that will also benefit public schools across Arizona. But if this project won't happen, nothing of this will come to fruition. So as of today, regrettably, the project is on hold due to what we believe is unreasonable opposition from an influential group that pursues their interests, not thinking of the greater economic benefits that this project will create for the county and Arizona as a whole. Let there be no doubt, this project is in the right location from an environmental perspective, from a technical perspective, and from a recreational perspective. It is adjacent to other larger solar facilities that has coexisted over a decade peacefully with wildlife and residents in Yuma. I will say that I respect the members of Yuma Rawdon Valley Rawdon Gun Club. I have met them personally. I've talked to Pat multiple times. My team has engaged with them at numerous times to better understand their concerns. And based on those discussions, we have made concessions. We've made adjustments to the project. We've made modifications to address this and also to satisfy Arizona Game and Fish. I'm personally deeply disappointed that we couldn't come to a resolution and find common ground to earn the trust and support from this key stakeholder. But despite our current experience, we remain hopeful that we will find a resolution. Honorable supervisors, I urge you to consider this. Even if the club is very passionate and a powerful member of the community and very influential, as we can see, there's probably quite a few of them in this room here. It's not the only stakeholder for a project like this. This project, due to its size, will affect all of Yuma, who has 200,000 or more citizens or inhabitants. It will benefit from taxpayers, school districts, fire districts, libraries, small businesses, to nonprofit organizations. There are many that aren't present here that would benefit from a project like this. And it is likely that solar energy will continue to grow in the state of Arizona and in the county of Yuma. And we are actively working with Arizona utilities. We are developing projects in other parts of Arizona, including in APS territories. And we're actively discussing with them about projects that we are developing, including this project. I will close out with saying that our company is not unfamiliar with these challenges. It's hard to please everyone. We've done this for a long time, since 1990, and you cannot always please everyone. A project of this magnitude, over $1 billion of investment, is an infrastructure project. Of course, it will have an impact. But everyone knows that doing stuff in California, where we have our headquarters, is not easy. So many other companies are locating or relocating their businesses to Arizona for the climate that is here, which will bring jobs, investment, tax revenues, and economic opportunity. And this type of a project is one of the later phenomenon that is bringing business into Arizona. And many parts of Arizona, rural areas, are benefiting from projects like this. And we believe that the state of Arizona and Yuma County in specifically is good position to harvest and attract and support energy generation projects, manufacturing, and other type of economic activities that a project of this magnitude will bring for the benefit of many. And with that, I will close. And our plan is to continue to tell the story of the value of this project. And we will go home and reevaluate our options on what we are going to do. And with that, I thank you for the time and for listening.
Thank you. Any questions for them?
I don't have a question. Mr. Schultz, have you looked at any other locations? You're talking about virgin desert that has endangered animals and protected plants. And
yes.
And your location is the reason that personally why I am opposed to Houdini. I'm not opposed to solar. I'm opposed to the location you have selected. Whoever did your research did a really poor job, because there are 300-year-old saguaro cactus over there, and your attorney at the planning and zoning said that you would restore the land to its original when you were done. Well, give me a break. You're not going to be able to restore 300-year-old saguaros or century-old ironwood that's protected, or all the endangered animals, the antelope and the deer and all those animals that are out there that inhabit that area because of the washes and because of the water that's on that side. You have so much disturbed property out there, and you have so much land that's in the 65 and 75 decimal for the airport or downwind from the landfill that could be used for solar extensively. But your selection of the virgin desert that is absolutely gorgeous and absolutely educational to the children in this community, and has been for the last 50 years. So, with that, I'm done.
Chairman, members of the board, because it's a withdrawal.
So we gave him the opportunity to speak, so therefore he should be able to answer questions, correct?
That would be to the discretion of the
Okay,
chair.
are you
I
looking
wouldn't
at
opine on
different
that, but
locations?
we've made a withdrawal, and
Okay.
Yeah.
we're getting into a public hearing at this point. So, but I would agree that it's to the discretion of the chair. Absolutely, I'd respect the chair.
No, I think we need to move on. It's this project is over. It's done. It was withdrawn. So I think we need to just move on.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Pat?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Pat Headington, 2087 West Chico Lane. Understanding the current status of this particular application, what I would like to address is an item that has come to light as part of these conversations, and that is the application of labels, particularly that label of anti-economic development. We have maintained open and honest communication with Aeolus. We haven't been able to agree on a whole lot, but I would hope that the staff and the leadership of Aeolus would at least be able to agree upon that. We've been open about our opposition. It's never wavered. And for those outside of our conversations to begin applying labels such as anti-economic development to the members of this board and or our organization are totally uncalled for. The members of our organization, we live here, we work here, we operate small businesses here. This is our community. And we continue to work with this Board of Supervisors, as we have with previous, on economic projects and to move economics forward in Yuma County. The number of projects that this board has approved for economic development in Yuma County are far too numerous for me to mention here. So I would hope that in the future, those who are outside of our conversations, whatever they might be, would reconsider applying labels to any one of these board members or any organizations in our community. And we recognize you probably don't need our support. You come to your positions with thick skin, and if not, hopefully some sort of Teflon lined nonstick coat so that some of this stuff just falls off. But we pledge now to maintain open communications and honest communications with Aeolus to help them find a different site and work with them on wildlife mitigation efforts. Thank you.
Johnny Fugate?
Mr. Chairman, I had a prepared statement, but I'll make this sweet since it's gone and we shouldn't be talking about it according to you. I think we should, and we are, thanks to you, Mr. Chairman. And the bottom line to this issue is This is the second time they pulled their packet. So this isn't their first time. Just so you know, Mr. Chairman, this is the second time they pulled the packet. Okay, you look like you didn't know that, but if I'm wrong, somebody tell me. Mr. Attorney, Mr. Administrator, is this not the second time they pulled the packet?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First of all, that's first and foremost. Anyway, we're not, the Rod and Gun Club ain't the decision makers. You all are. You five are. So when this old boy that owns everything stands up here and tells you that we ain't looking at things, well, we've got our personal opinion of what we think's right or wrong, but we ain't the decision makers. You all are. And the reason they pulled their packet twice is they didn't have the vote the first time, and they dang sure, almost slipped, huh? The dang sure they don't have the vote this time. So that's why they pulled their packet. And all that mumbo jumbo about the money and all that, we can have that discussion another day. And we'll have Mr. Headington do it for you. And it equates out to something like, if you took everybody in the state of Arizona, about 19%, 19 cents per person. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Kyle?
Morning.
Morning.
I prepared a statement, and although things have changed, I'd still like to read it to you because I think it's important for me to tell you what I've prepared. Let's set the precedent that though the application has been withdrawn, my opinions and message will remain the same should the applicant reapply. Today I stand before you for what I hope is the last time to speak on behalf of our community and the beauty that defines Yuma County. The decision you're about to make carries immense weight, and I want to be clear and earnest in my plea for denial of special use permit 2311. First and foremost, our steadfast commitment to preserving public access in our community remains resolute. We cherish the ability to explore and enjoy these landscapes that belong to all of us. It's a right that our community has safeguarded, and we are not willing to part with it lightly. Denying this permit is a testament to the dedication to accessibility for all and not just a privileged few. Secondly, the protection of our native species, endangered or otherwise, is a moral responsibility that we hold dear. These parcels are not just a home. They are a sanctuary, and it is our responsibility to ensure that these species continue to thrive, not just within these parcels, but beyond, without hindrance or interruption. The legacy we leave for future generations is built upon our commitment to protecting these creatures and the unique biodiversity that defines our county. We are a community that values honesty and transparency. We do not appreciate any entity attempting to deceive or sway the uninformed. We've noticed efforts to delete negative feedback and comments from social media posts, even resorting to deleting and reposting content to shape a more favorable narrative. Our community sees through this, and we urge you to do the same. Finally, it is crucial to remember that the community that you serve, the one that makes its home here, has resilience that outlasts any lease term on state trust lands. We will stand strong and united, ensuring the long-term preservation of our home and the values that we hold dear. I would like to express my profound gratitude to this board for their dedication to our community and for carefully considering our concerns. I do so out of profound respect for the role that each of you play in shaping our collective destiny. In closing, I respectfully request a denial for special use permit 2311, a decision that aligns with our community's unwavering commitment to accessibility, the preservation of our unique biodiversity, and our palpable integrity. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat Curry?
Hey, Pat Corey, I'm the superintendent of the Antelope Union High School District, also superintendent of Dayton for many years, still active with that group. I'm here because I have a dog in the fight. I wouldn't be here any other reason. A couple of you on this board are very dear friends of mine, and most of the people in this community are people I respect and love. I do want to give you the other side. By denying this, first of all, almost nobody in this room lives on that side of Telegraph Pass. That's my home. That's where I live. I spent more time in that unit than most of these people. I've been out there 1,000 times. I don't just camp a couple times a year. That's where I live. And I understand that I wouldn't, want to camp a couple times a year or whatever and don't want to see solar panels. I get that. And I totally get that. I appreciate everyone's opinion. I want to look at the other side. This place was zoned for solar. APS invested millions in basically an off-ramp or an on-ramp to those towers. That's why the solar is there. We've got 3 solar plants. This is another one. I represent Antelope Union High School District and the taxpayers on that side, which none of you live there, except Darren. By denying this, we have essentially doubled the taxes for everybody on that side of Telegraph Pass. Every business, the school taxes double, and I can show you on paper, they double. I just want us to think about it, and I asked Pat, I appreciate the gun club, and I think we need to keep talking. When you double everybody's taxes on that side, you're not conservatives, that's flaming liberal. Come on, be honest. Double taxes. If you own a restaurant or station or something on that side, and your taxes, school taxes, are $1,000, there'd be $500 or $400, even maybe even $300. This is $100 and some million of tax base. It would be the largest investment in the history of Yuma County, ever. And it would be the 3rd largest project going right now in the state of Arizona. The only 2 bigger projects would be the 2 chip plants going to the valley. We've got to think about how to preserve that kind of investment. It's easy to say, well, for my selfish reasons, I don't want this. But those of us that live out there, and it puts pressure on Darren, basically you're doubling our taxes. And you don't even live there. I need to keep Antelope Union High School alive. We're in trouble. Our school facilities out there are way lower than they are down. Come out, look, I'll take you around. We're hurting. We need tax base. That's my way out. And we're hurting my kids. And I appreciate everyone in this room. I just want you to think about that because I love my kids too. We love our kids too. Restaurants, RV parks, gas stations, farms, we pay taxes out there. And we deserve help also. So try to work with us. I asked the Rod and Gun Club, everybody involved. You guys, a lot of are friends of mine. But please understand why I have a dog in the fight. And as far as clearing land and all that, I used to cotton farm out there. We've cleared hundreds of thousands of acres in Yuma County. We've cut down trees. You know that. Go out to Hyder, I'll show you. Go out even here. We're clearing land right now as we speak in Yuma. We're clearing it up clear to the Telegraph Pass. Don't act like we've never done that. To progress, we got to do that sometime. But let's just all work together. I would love the Rod and Gun Club to sit down and come look at what I'm dealing with and look at the taxes we pay. Our little restaurants, our gas stations, our farmers, they pay taxes too. And I just want us to move forward. I've never heard of a county turn down $1.2 billion investment. We'd probably be the first ever. And I've never heard Yuma County vote for the largest tax increase in the history of Yuma County for the people on that side. That's what it would be. It'd be a tax increase. Now, you're saying, well, if it doesn't happen, it's not an increase. But technically, that's what we're doing. So just think about it. Let's work together. I appreciate everyone in this room, and I do appreciate all. The Rod and Gun Club people are wonderful people, and I think you guys are too. Closing, the places in Yuma County that are hurting the worst are South County and that side of Telegraph Pass. We have no infrastructure. You can't build an elementary school in Somerton that looks the same as you can build in town. They build a box, basically. Lower Knoll has fought and fought and fought trying to build, okay? Because they have no infrastructure, they have no tax base. Same goes out there. We have to think about that. So please be open-minded. My kids are important as your kids. You may not think that, but I do. Thank you.
Alan?
Board of Supervisors, thanks for your time today. My name is Alan Boyce, 32165 East County 6.5 Street in Welton. I'm a farmer in Arizona and California, and I also have been a utility scale solar developer in California in the past. And solar is an excellent source of renewable energy. There's no debate about that. However, and it's going to generate a lot of taxes for East Yuma County, which, in my opinion, in the last few years of being out here, is sort of the forgotten stepchild in this county, right? We can't separate like La Paz did back in the day. They changed the rules, but this side of the county tends to ignore what happens on the other side of the pass. So in general, I'm a very strong supporter of solar, except the state land lease money, 98.7% of that goes to the rest of the state, right? Tiny amount comes to here. I don't know whether you guys have been apprised, but Grid United is working to build the second 500 kV transmission line from the North Gila substation to the Imperial substation. That's going to turn that into the electron superhighway. Why is that important? It's going to open up, it's going to eliminate all the grid congestion, and all the coastal renewable portfolio standards goals in California are going to be seeking solar electrons on the other end of that. In addition, on this side of the Imperial substation is the Imperial Valley Farmland. Imperial County Board of Supervisors is proposing a $400 to $800 solar development fee per year, which is going to push all that solar towards us. And what does that mean? It means that the capacity on that new superhighway is all going to get hogged up by the solar going to California and not going to benefit this county at all. I mean, I'm out there. We have very limited capacity within Welton Mohawk. I can see the twin 500 kV lines from my farms. We can't get power from there. So those are some issues. No electrical benefit, and as the solar is added there without any connections to Yuma County, right, the capacity declines over time, and eventually there'll be no capacity left for Yuma County on that electron superhighway. Mm-hmm. I'm not a hunter, I'm not an environmentalist. The desert out there is pretty darn healthy. Those washes are gigantic. They go 70 miles up into the mountains. It's a spectacular example of the Sonoran Desert. I've looked at old aerial photographs. I think it takes hundreds, if not thousands of years for that desert to stitch itself back together. These plant species defy human cultural ability, okay? I think the idea that we can scrape that and come back in 30 years and put it back together is, right? Like maybe we'll come up with a technology, but maybe not. So this is more in general, just what does Yuma County do with all these changing circumstances? And so here are some ideas. Well, one, if Imperial County is going to be squeezing the balloon by charging a significantly high impact fee, maybe Yuma County ought to be doing that. That'll generate some tax revenue. There's no doubt that the county, and especially eastern Yuma County, needs some more tax revenue. There is a fair amount of degraded land in this county already, okay? And stuff that you don't think is degraded, but Yuma Mesa Irrigation District put in for 12,000 acre feet a year for the next 3 years of full fallowing. That sounds to me like 3,000 acres that are going to be completely taken out of production. I know the landowners, it's inside the noise barrier for the Marine Corps base. Solar would be perfect there. There's some pretty big power lines. And in Welton Mohawk, there's a bunch of land back in the 90s related to the title transfer where the water was taken away. Mother Nature was scraped a long time ago. It's completely flat. That could be another one. But the important thing also is that we have to get our grid connected to that electron superhighway. Otherwise, we're going to watch as history is made and maybe collect a little bit of taxes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael Snyder.
Yes, my name's Michael Snyder, 3686 South 18th Avenue. This proposal is so wrong on so many levels. I don't even know where to begin. I don't have any notes, and I'll try and keep this less than an hour for you guys.
You only have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You better hope I'm kidding.
You stop 1
Anyway,
minute, Mike.
I've been going out to this area my entire life since I was old enough to walk. My dad trained in this area before he got shipped overseas in World War II. There's several washes that are named out there after soldiers that died training out there before World War II. This area, without being redundant and repeating what everybody said, I've been all through the state of Arizona, all through the West. I can say that this is a unique area. There's no area like this in the state. And from gigantic ironwood trees, mesquite trees, palo verde trees, beautiful flats. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And to put into perspective wildlife, over my life, I've been out in this area every month of the year. And I went out a month ago and I counted, in one morning, I counted 60 headed deer, 20 javelina. I've seen the Sonoran antelope out there several times, and I just can't fathom for the life of me, if anybody spent any time out there, why in the world they would ever want to destroy it. And either these gentlemen representing Houdini had ever been out there, or what I really suspect, and let's just be truthful, they got investors, they promised their investors they're going to flip this and make tens of millions of dollars. Does anybody really believe they care about the quality of life in Yuma County? We need more areas like this, not less. This is the absolute, like Glenn pointed out, worst place you could pick in Yuma County to put a project like this in. And as far as the tax revenues, Bobby McDermott worked out the figures on planning and zoning. And if I remember correctly, well, most of the money is going to go back to the state. And if it stayed in Yuma County, it works out to about $20 per person. It's nothing. It goes back to the state, and I think Johnny pointed out, it's about 19 cents a person. This isn't a money issue. This is a quality life issue. And if they want to put the solar panels in, do it somewhere else. But it's not going to happen here. Houdini said that they wanted to compromise with the Rod and Gun Club, which I just joined after the last planning and zoning meeting. And their compromise was, instead of destroying this entire area, we're just going to destroy almost all of it. That was their compromise. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no compromise in this area. I don't want to see 1 square inch of this destroyed. And the reason I'm up here and passionate about it is because it's for my kids, my grandkids, and all my friends and their grandkids. This is a kid issue. The quality of life you cannot put into words. When you take kids out there and show them stuff, teach them about life. And in closing, I'd just like to equate this. I believe that they have offices in La Jolla. Can you imagine if a foreign company came in and said, you know what, we want to put wind turbines across all that state beach in La Jolla and San Diego, and then we want to ship the power back to Arizona? How far would that go? That's exactly what we're talking about right here. And if you haven't noticed, I'm totally against this project. Thank you for your time.
That's all the speaker forms I have. And as I said it since the beginning, they withdrew their application. There's nothing, we're not going to take any action on it. So with that,
Thank you very much.
we'll go ahead and move on back to the regular agenda.
Just close the public meeting and do that.
Close the public hearing now, so thank you for your concerns.
One last thing.
Yes.
And I do want to take the opportunity to thank everybody that came, both the applicant and everybody that came to show us, because we've heard all this before from somebody, and I've seen it, but it was necessary to hear what the applicant had to say and what you guys had to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Yeah, this is all about this.
They went pretty fast. What's great?
Yeah.
The bomb.
If he has no-
Great. The guy's supposed to do a presentation on the way
He
it
has
is.
not let any energy get in here.
Yeah, Greg LeBon.
List of all the people that spoke.
He's probably outside. The guys were just witnessing.
Mr. Chairman, can we ask them to move away from the door? Ian,
I think they're.
they can go down to Cafecito and be on the patio.
Send the sheriff. If we can possibly have the people that are sitting outside to come in, that would be nice.
We'll move on to presentations, proclamations, and appointments.
1 hour later.
During this segment of the agenda, board members may discuss the presentations and proclamations and may announce appointments to the Yuma County Planning and Zoning Commission and the Yuma County Board of Adjustments. No legal actions will be taken. Any appointments?
None.
All right, item number 1, presentation by Greg Levon, interim CEO, President Greater Yuma Economic Development.
Emails this weekend.
Greg?
Good morning,
Good morning.
Chairman, esteemed board. Good to see everybody. I know you have an action-packed agenda, so I want to make this as quick and painless as possible. But at the same time, I wanted to make you aware that you're going to be seeing me a lot more often. In the past, GYEC has only done a mid-year presentation to you, and I just didn't feel like that was sufficient enough for the amount of money you invest in my organization. So going forward, I want to come before you year-end and talk about what your investment is actually returning to the community. And so also taxpayers know that the money you're putting into GYEC is actually providing a benefit to the entire area as well. So with that, I'll hop into it really quickly. I'd like to just point your attention to a couple areas here. When you talk about capital investment, that's incredibly important because that's property taxes that are generated. And we were just talking about that. You know, when a company puts in real investment into buildings or equipment, that actually returns a direct return to the county and to the community. So I wanted to focus on that. Along with that, I want to talk about the job average wage we're creating. All jobs are not created equal. And our whole focus here at GYEC is actually to create jobs that elevate the community, that create a higher quality life so that people can afford homes, take care of their children, and be able to actually enjoy their actual lives. So when we're focusing on jobs, we're focusing on the right jobs, not just any jobs. And then along with that, the diversity of industry we're focused on. You know, ag tech, manufacturing, R&D, you know, actual manufacturing in San Luis, and even retail as well, hospitality. Economic development is not the same in every community. It's not the same in every city. It's not the same in every county, not the same even in every neighborhood. And so we understand that for every community we represent, we have to focus on what matters to them. And so I look at from an extended stay for San Luis. Well, San Luis wanted a hotel. So even though we don't focus on hospitality and retail, we had to actually dedicate resources and time to help them because that was something very important to the community. So with that, I wanted to also focus on the fact that incentive savings. We're working with our existing companies to also, you know, save money when it comes to training, save money when it comes to actually acquiring new equipment. Our focus is on holistic economic development, not just one area.
And we do that on purpose. Throw people off.
Okay, there we go. So in the last 2 years, we've had a very, very strong performance. We wanted to benchmark the fact that after COVID, obviously there were a lot of different things happening, but in the last 2 years, we really focused on what did we do as an organization. And as you can see right here, as the county has invested significant money into our organization, we've been able to return a large number of capital investment. This one's jammed right here. This button, yeah.
We went back.
We were able to invest a significant number of capital investment, but also with that, our average wage and salaries is very important. The county average median wage right now is about $32,000. So the fact that we're working on companies and projects that are actually creating 20% above the county median wage is very, very important to us and incredibly important to our overall community. And then the overall payroll growth as well. Individuals being able to go out there, spend money in the community, obviously, you know, return to entire county is incredibly important. So this is a fun slide too. I know Phoenix gets all the ballyhoo for groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings and all the other things happening. But we wanted to demonstrate that our organization, in comparison to Greater Phoenix Economic Council, which is a highly esteemed organization, we're able to compete. And when we look at it from the standpoint that Phoenix is 27.5 times larger than Yuma, and go down the list here, you start seeing that our average jobs created, along with the number of new jobs created per 1,000 people, we're almost exactly on par with the Greater Phoenix Economic Council. So what does that mean? That means that Yuma is strong. It means that Yuma is doing very well. I think Mr. Harrington just recognized the fact that you have permitted a number of new economic development projects in this community. And you can see right here, it's demonstrating in our actual performance versus our competitors in Phoenix, the fact that we're able to stand up against them and create a whole new economic development landscape for the entire community. Next slide, please. And then we talked about what we've done the last couple of years, but now what's on the horizon? Well, Piana Technologies is expanding. We've been able to work with the Greater Yuma Port Authority to attract Chicanos Por La Casa so that they would actually come down here and build new buildings so we could try to attract new economic development. As I mentioned before, the retail and hospitality is going strong down in San Luis. Next slide. And then from a city of Welton perspective, Mr. Alan Boyce, who actually just came before you, is proposing an incredibly transformative project in the city of Welton. This would change not only Yuma County, but the town of Welton in so many different ways. The ability to bring in multimodal transportation, offer not only rail, but then also truck, different activities as well, could potentially create an entire new industry out in the city of Welton. So we're very excited about that. We're excited to work with Alan on getting this project to fruition. And we know that if we can get this entire development to the final stage, we can attract some amazing projects to the city of Welton and really create a whole new economic development horizon for them as well. Next slide. And then in Somerton as well, we're working for every one of our communities is very important for us. So Somerton Manufacturing is a new manufacturing project that's going in the city of Somerton. And this individual company is the first since the filter factory to actually manufacture in Somerton. So very excited about that. Next slide, please.
Mr. Chairman, just don't mean to interrupt. As you bring these forward, how will you ensure, because some of us sit on your board, that the projects that are being proposed are compatible with our community, first and foremost? Second of all, that your board remains part of that decision. How will you address those things?
I think first and foremost, Vice Chairman, that we'd actually bring it before our board to talk about if it is compatible, if the community does want it. I think we all just encountered a project in which the community was very vocal about not wanting it in their backyard. And at the outset, we need to find out from our board, what is our vision, what is our direction, and do you agree with it? And if you don't agree with it, we don't even bring it before the rest of the community to even talk about it.
Thank you.
You know, Greg, I think that's great because as a board, I think the board has the right to make that decision as a whole, not just certain individuals. So any project, because we're investing $150,000, and that's taxpayers' money. And I think they, you know, we represent them. And I think the, you know, I mean, we heard a lot of things today, but I would hate to just be putting in money and other people just deciding what comes in or what. So we got to be focused on what can we, what can we attract. Right. We got to focus on just certain things that are that we know that Yuma County residents want, but we you know, just what happened this morning, I just don't want to go through that again.
Right.
But it's so we need to be, that board needs to get on gear but everybody on the same page. So thanks.
In real time.
Real time.
Yeah. Well, and mainly to the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's key. It's like I know Alan's project. It's a perfect fit for that area. So, you know, but that's what we need to look at.
Agreed. Yeah. You represent the community. You speak on behalf of the county taxpayers. So at the end of the day, we take your lead. It doesn't go the other way around. And so I agree with that. And you can see right here from these 3 projects you've already permitted, these are economic development driven projects. These are going to actually create green tech manufacturing jobs in our community in the right areas, not using resources that are critical to our community, and actually turning around and using less resources in order to create additional jobs, high-paying jobs, but then along with that, you know, protect our environmental impact as well. One in here I want to point out, we did not bring aloe, you did that, but I wanted to thank this board for actually making that investment. I can now stand in front of any company and very confidently say that we have the fiber backbone to stand up any economic development project, and that is so huge. So thank you very much, Vice Chairman Lyons in particular. I know you did a lot of work on that front, but overall, all of you did.
You voted? No, just kidding. Look this way, okay? Don't look that way.
But it is. Fiber is the backbone of future economic development. You know, companies in manufacturing, companies in logistics are interfacing robotics, artificial intelligence, and automation. And with that, every single one of those entities has to rely on 5G or higher capabilities. So thank you very much for giving us the assets to go out there and continue to create a new economic development landscape for Yuma.
This is the hydrogen, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. The green hydrogen.
Yes.
Yes. Next slide, please. And then from a city perspective, which also still impacts the Yuma County, we worked with a couple of agri-tech companies along with the Yuma International to find a new developer, well, 2 new developers actually, that want to build hangars on their property. And so that's incredibly important because companies don't want to invest in that actual infrastructure. They want to make sure that when they come to a community, they can just hire people, buy equipment, and move on. They don't want to carry that debt service. So it's really important that we continue to work on bringing new developers to our community to invest in the building side so that we can essentially attract new industry to our community. And then along with that, Cali Fame and Panattoni, one of the largest spec developers in all of the world, actually is now committed to the city of Yuma.
Kelly, oh, okay. I'll talk to you about it.
Sure, yeah. Next slide, please. And then I won't bore you with this, but also our job, in addition to new attraction, is also to work with our existing industry. And so whether it be our investors or just overall existing companies here locally, we're working with them to actually save them money so that they can reinvest in Yuma County. So across the board, you can see here some of our investors that we've worked, saved them over $10 million in the past year. And every single year going forward, we want to increase that number. Next slide, please. And then our future economic development initiatives. We are working with Ramirez Advisors along with a couple other entities to essentially hire a binational consultant, go into the actual Mexico markets of Central Mexico, South America, and even across the borders of Baja and Sonora. At the end of the day, we know that our story is not being told correctly as it relates to our cross-border area. So we need to make sure that we get to the doorstep. We have a consultant speaking on behalf of our county, talking about the fact that we have 2 state-of-the-art ports of entry, talking about the fact that Nogales is not the only entry point into the United States, and talking about the fact that we can be a binational nearshoring opportunity for companies looking to come back from Asia, India, or even Mexico as well. And then we're also working with the Arizona Commerce Authority on a foreign direct investment campaign. We're actually going to have 12 Israeli desert water manufacturing companies coming into town on October 24th. But unfortunately, because of what happened in the Gaza Strip, that project got delayed. But once we actually reinitiate that, engaging our board members, them finding out about what they're proposing to do, and then hopefully bring in those individuals before our leaders to find out how they can work and align with our assets. And then working with the Yuma Center of Excellence for Desert Agriculture as well. We actually just attended a meeting with them in September up in California, and we're working with them on the marketing and attraction standpoint to help them attract new agri-tech companies to Yuma County. Spaceport continues to move forward. We actually just revived our Manufacturer Association. 23 companies accounting for 10% of the Yuma County workforce are involved in the Yuma Manufacturer Association, and they're actually working to help assist themselves with best practices, leveraging resources so that they can continue to grow. And I think one of the first examples of success was Shar Carpets. They are working right now to take those displaced workers, re-engage them, and retransition them into their own manufacturing plants. 2 weeks ago, 64 of those employees received job offers through Arizona Work, and we're continuously working to add more and more opportunities for them. I know that within Shaw, they had 114 employees that actually worked in San Luis and Somerton. And so that and alone, we need to figure out ways to actually take those displaced workers and retransition them into new opportunities. And I didn't mention, and I'm not at liberty to say it yet, but we actually do have a new manufacturing project in San Luis. I'm actually meeting with them on Thursday. They are going to occupy the 83,000 square foot building near the commercial port of entry. This company is going to employ at least 50 to 100 employees to start. So another great win for our community, and hopefully the next time I come before you, I can give them the company name. And then next slide. And then lastly, I'd like to invite each and every one of you to our January luncheon. We're going to be talking about childcare. We know that's an epidemic that's really affecting all industry, affecting everybody, whether it be public, private, public safety, everyone's having a hard time being able to get back to work because of the costs of childcare and accessibility. So we've been working with First Things First, we've been working with AWC, Arizona Work, and a number of different partners to essentially figure out a way how we can fix our issues locally, because at the end of the day, no one else is going to help us. So we need to figure out how we can do that here in the local area. And so we're going to talk about some of the next steps in addressing that so we can support county employees, obviously Sheriff's Department, and a number of other industries as well. With that, any questions?
Any questions for Greg?
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you for the time. Have a great
Good
day.
luck. We'll move on to item number 2. Chairman proclaims the day of November 18, 2023 to be Adoption Day in Yuma County, and Supervisor Pankasi will read the proclamation.
Proclaiming day of November 18th, 2023 to be Adoption Day in Yuma County. Whereas more than 2,125 children in the Arizona foster care system are waiting to be adopted, and whereas in Yuma County there are approximately 167 children in foster care, of which 55 are waiting for permanent families, and whereas foster care is designed to be temporary, yet the average time a child waits for an adoptive family is approximately 17 months. And whereas National Adoption Day is a collective national effort to find permanent, loving families for children in the foster care. And whereas on Saturday, November 18, 2023, National Adoption Day will be celebrated in all 50 states, offering children the opportunity to live with permanent, stable, and loving families.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm not done. Now, therefore, the day of November 18, 2023 is hereby proclaimed Adoption Day in Yuma County. During this time, adoptions will be finalized for children at the Yuma County Juvenile Justice Center. I urge all residents to join in local, state, and national efforts to raise awareness about the importance of becoming a foster parent and to consider becoming an adoptive parent during November and throughout the year. Now I'm done. Thanks, Mike.
Members of the board. Mike Bird, adult probation, here on behalf of Juvenile Court. Director Ed Gilligan, presiding judge Aaron Farrar down there at Juvenile Court. I want to thank you very, very much for the proclamation on Adoption Day. Adoption has blessed my family. My wife and I became parents 3 times over. Thanks to adoption. We were all part of Adoption Day down at Juvenile Court for each one of those. It's a fantastic opportunity, and thank you for the recognition for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take a hand out the
Yes.
proclamation.
Here we go.
Okay, it's in between us. No, Martine thinks I'm after as well.
Come on, yes, Bill, you help.
Come on.
You help.
Build it all three.
I have to tell you, Bill and I worked together when I was in the legislature because he got a bill passed that allowed county attorneys, thank you, county attorneys to be able to do adoptions, and that wasn't the case. And so we passed legislation with his help that allows us to be able to do those adoptions.
Well done.
And he was instrumental.
Over there?
Oh, there, first, please. And all that.
1, 2.
And now over here, please. Everybody look this way. Thank you so much.
Hurry up.
Your wallet seems lighter.
Yeah. You usually get podium here.
Wallet seems lighter. You have a ventilator, that's why.
Chairman and members of the board, I should acknowledge County Attorney Kirkus. He presided over, or didn't preside, he represented us rather in all three of our adoptions. And the county took care of that for us, and it was a fantastic experience. So definitely this county takes care of its own, and we do it better than just about everybody.
Thank you,
Good
Mike.
job.
It's because of a fellow bald guy that, you know.
Moving on to item number 3. Chairman proclaims the week of November 6th to the 12th, 2023 to be Operation Green Light for Veterans Week. Supervisor Simmons.
Okay, proclaiming the week of November 6th through the 12th, 2023, Operation Green Light for Veterans Week. Whereas the residents of Yuma County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who have served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and ways of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Yuma County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, and civil service. And whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Green Light for veterans. And whereas Yuma County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. And whereas Yuma County will light its buildings greens to recognize the importance of honoring those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom. Now, therefore, the week of November 6th to 12th, 2023 is hereby proclaimed to be Operation Green Light for Veterans Week.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. And I know, well, Ray, he's gonna, if you want to come up, and we have a list of veterans that are here. So, but any comments or?
We're just glad to be here, Chairman.
All right, well, let's get it. I think all the veteran from each department is here. You said someone come up to the front. And, thank you for your service. And,
Yeah, I can jump in.
Yeah, you jump in there.
I'm gonna border the other side.
All right, let's put that in the center. Tony, you're out.
I know.
Should we stay? We'll be in the back? We can go. You can stay down here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I guess since I fall in the veterans, everybody can stay down.
The board is going to go behind us, so we're going to line up right here. We can just-
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, right
Perfect.
here.
Get everybody in here?
Nobody taller than 5'6".
Well, you gotta slide a little bit, don't they?
And then if I can get the board just to kind of.
Yeah, go in the middle of this.
Please, thank you.
That means,
Way too far. Okay.
And you're going to look there first.
Okay.
This way now.
I can see you. You look through that one, I'll look through that one.
There you go. I can see you in front of you. All right, that's everybody. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. For
Thank
your
you,
service.
guys. Thank you for your service. Uh-huh.
And Mr. Chairman, if I might, I just wanted to also acknowledge these fine employees in the county and their service, and also recognize facilities management, who has lit in green a number of county facilities, including adult probation, Justice Center, historic courthouse, county admin, and the main library. So.
All right.
Cool. On that.
All right, well, thanks again, yeah.
some of us drivers take that green light to mean something else, but that's okay.
Moving on to
Bye all.
Item number
Thanks
four,
for coming.
presentation of the mix with Yuma County and El Condado, informado by Yuma 77, the Yuma County Government Channel. So.
Welcome to The Mix. My name is Alicia Ruiz, and today I'm going to be taking you to the Public Works Department, and we're going to take a look at all the services they provide for the community and for you. Follow me. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Welcome to The Mix.
Thank you.
So I know that Public Works Department has a lot of divisions and a lot of services, but today we're going to focus on one. Which one are we going to focus on today?
Today we're focusing on the Highway Maintenance Division.
Okay.
That division is in charge of paved road maintenance, gravel road maintenance, traffic control, structures maintenance, and asset management.
Okay, so that sounds like a lot of really fancy words. Tell us a little bit about what this division does.
So they are in charge of making sure that the county right-of-ways are clean. They take care of the county's sidewalks. They also take care of retention basins, make sure that they're maintained. They also make sure that the drainage systems are clean. So our traffic control division, they're in charge of maintaining the county's traffic signals and the signs. We fabricate all of our signs and we maintain our signs yearly and replace them or repair them. We are also in charge of striping the paved roads within the county. Our asset management, they are in charge of maintaining our assets and keeping track of them. They also coordinate projects that are coming up with the Highway Maintenance Division. And we're committed to making sure that we take care of the community and providing safe traveling roads. And I'm very proud to be part of this team.
Well, thank you so much for welcoming us into your department and telling us about highway maintenance. And so I look forward to our next series, which is going to be what?
On waste management.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, so now follow me and we're going to go see Oscar.
That's right. I'm here at the Yuma County main branch to grant you exclusive VIP access into one of the coolest rooms, the circulation room. Let's go check it out. Hey, Elma.
Hey, Oscar. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm here to get exclusive VIP access of the circulation room. Tell me about it.
So the circulation room is where all the books that get returned get sorted out and then distributed so they're ready to be shelved. Patrons can return them either from the drive up or from the walk up. The machine will put them on the conveyor belt and then put them where they go.
Oh my gosh, we literally just got a book.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so it's gonna make its way down.
Yes.
Okay, oh my goodness. Wow. This is literally so sophisticated and so amazing.
So when a patron returns the book, we'll place the book over here. The machine will read the RFID tag. We'll remove it from the patron's account and it'll distribute it to wherever it goes depending on the category. And Oscar, this is the circulation desk where you can check out your books. When you come up to the desk, you'll give them your card and then we'll check out the books for you.
Okay, cool. I heard that there's a drive-through, pickup window.
Yes.
Let's go see.
Let's go. This is the pickup window. Look, Oscar, we have a patron. It's your time to shine.
All right, it's my big moment. Mom, you better be watching. These are his books?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go in here.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful day. How'd I do?
Great.
All right, Elma, thank you so much. That was a true VIP experience here in the circulation room. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Carla and Arlene, back to you. And tune in next time for your next VIP access.
Thank you, Oscar. That was super interesting. And now we're going to head out to the health fair with Carla.
Thank you. My name is Carla Vasquez, and today I'm here to introduce Kudos with Carla. Here we celebrate all the small and big victories that you guys have and sometimes that we have. So today with me, I have Alejandra, Angelica, and Maria, and they're here to share a little bit about why they love being part of our wellness program. We were recently awarded for HOP Award Platinum level. This is something that we have kept for years, and we need to acknowledge how amazing the employer does supporting Yuma County employees and their well-being. Ale, please tell me, what was your favorite activity to host for the employees?
Hi, Carla. Yes, so the biggest event I have coordinated has been the Health Fair for the employees. So we do invite wellness clinics, wellness vendors to the Health Fair. We do raffles, portion plate activities, so it's a lot of fun that we do here.
Thank you. Angelica, with your past experience, please tell me, how did they include wellness in their workday?
Well, with previous employers, there was no wellness included. Unfortunately, with Yuma County, the wellness support is beyond measures for all employees, and I think it's amazing. I like the whole setup, everything that we have to offer for different vendors for the employees.
Thank you. And today I have an employee who loves to participate in our wellness activities. Maria, tell me about your experience.
Hi, Carla. Thank you for asking. I had a great experience, and I continue to have a great experience with the wellness program. I enjoy all of the activities, all of the events, everything that Yuma County has to offer for us as employees. The best part of it all is that I get asked at the end of every event if I enjoyed it and how can I make it better, and they actually take my ideas and my concerns into consideration, and that's something that not every employer does, so I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you so much, Maria. We really appreciate everyone who supports this, and thanks to you and all your support, we continue to receive this Healthy Arizona Award.
Thank you, Carla. That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on the Mix. Hola, yo soy Arlene.
Y mi nombre es Carla.
Bienvenidos al Condado Informado. ¿Qué vamos a estar platicando el día de hoy, Carla?
Hoy estamos en el Distrito de Salud y tenemos una cita con Diana Gómez, que nos va a dar toda la información necesaria para las vacunas.
Le va a dar un poco de información de cuáles vacunas tenemos, las horas de operación y hasta el costo que tiene. Así es que, por favor, quédese con nosotros y
yo ahorita regreso. Hola, Diana, buenos días.
Buenos días, gracias por venir.
Muchas gracias por tenernos. Hoy estamos aquí porque sabemos que este es el lugar perfecto de informarnos de esta temporada que viene de gripa. ¿Qué nos puedes decir de esta temporada que viene?
Bueno, es importante que la gente venga, pregunte si tiene alguna pregunta, pero que se venga a vacunar. Las vacunas son una manera muy importante de ayudar a tu sistema inmunológico a protegerse contra virus o contra gérmenes.
Perfecto. ¿Y nos puedes decir qué tipo de vacunas tienen aquí en el distrito?
Tenemos diferentes vacunas. Cada vacuna es formulada para prevenir una enfermedad específica o ayudar a que no tengas una enfermedad grave. Tenemos vacunas para influenza, tenemos la de COVID, tenemos vacunas específicamente para niños que son de edad de escuela, y son muchas de las vacunas que son requeridas por las escuelas. So, es importante que llames. Es más fácil si haces cita, pero no es necesario que hagas cita. Puedes llamar. Muchas veces también podemos coordinar algo e ir a un lugar, a una escuela o un lugar en la comunidad, para que la gente que no tenga transportación no tenga el problema de tener que venir a nuestra oficina.
Ok, perfecto. ¿Y nos puedes decir del costo? ¿Cómo la comunidad paga para estas vacunas?
Pues hay diferentes maneras. Si tienes Access o si tienes aseguranza privada, aceptamos unas aseguranzas privadas, pero llama y pregunta. Y también tenemos unos fondos que podemos pagar para gente que no tiene aseguranza y que no tiene los recursos. Generalmente depende, como la vacuna de influenza cuesta $25, pero siempre tratamos de trabajar con las familias, porque especialmente con las familias de niños menores de 18 años, porque es importante que podamos ayudar a protegerlos.
Muchas gracias, Diana. Y así como miraron, es muy fácil agarrar sus vacunas y muy importante para estos tiempos que vienen. Muchísimas gracias por toda la información. Vámonos. Wow, Arlene, ahora sí tenemos toda la información necesaria para que la comunidad venga a vacunarse.
Perfecto, y ahí lo tiene, información que salva. Y si tiene alguna pregunta o quedó ahí con un pendiente, aquí en este número en la pantalla usted puede hablar para agarrar más información o hacer una cita.
También el distrito tiene muchas otras divisiones. Métanse a la página de internet si quieren más información. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos.
Al Condado Informado.
Yeah, with that music, it's tough to tell what language they're going to use, right?
And
That's
Mr.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, just to point out that we are making more of an effort to reach our Spanish speaking residents and businesses and visitors, and this is a great effort. To do that, I want to commend Arlene and her communications team for doing that. What had been called the County Line, which had been a program for many years. You saw the mix, and then you saw the Condado Inflamado, and so the plan would be to show the mix for the first meeting of the month, and then the second meeting of the month would be the Spanish language, El Condado Inflamado, and its unique content for both of the programs. So very excited about extending that outreach to our Spanish-speaking residents, businesses.
And that would be running in the program, right? Ian, it would be running, continuing.
On 77.
Channel 77.
That is correct. Yeah.
So that if you missed it one time, you can catch it some other time.
Yes.
Lo pueden encontrar en otro tiempo.
No, that was great. Thank you. Yeah, well done. We're looking forward.
I'm sure,
to
Carla,
some
after
more.
a few of those, you look a little less nervous.
Autographs afterwards.
Yeah, autographs.
Thank you once again. Moving on to consent calendar. The following items listed under the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion unless board members so request. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. We have items 1 to 14.
Where's the health director?
Oh, we just saw her.
I know. You know.
She's here,
No,
she's
no,
up
I'm
in
just scared.
the
No,
lobby.
If nobody's got anything,
Don't pull anything out.
I'm gonna make a motion, we approve as presented.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar, items 1 to 14. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Going on to
Equalization.
Had a recess.
recess the Yuma County Board of Supervisors convenes or recess and convene as the Yuma County Board of Equalization. Board of Equalization's consent calendar. The following items listed under the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion to accept the notices of decision agreed upon by the petitioners and the Yuma County Assessor with no separate discussion unless a board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. Item number 1.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We approve the consent item as listed.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll adjourn as the Yuma County Board of Equalization and reconvene as the Yuma County Board of Supervisors. Moving on to planning and zoning agenda. Go ahead and expedited rezoning and public hearing. These items will be open as a group for public hearing and accepted upon by one motion to adopt the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, except for any item that is removed by a board member for separate consideration. The item will be discussed and acted upon separately following action on expedited items. We have.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. We go ahead and hear these items on an expedited matter and hear all three of them together. this item.
All right, and
I don't make a motion, I just.
I mean, so we'll open them up, all three. All right.
Mr. Chairman, would you like presentation? They're on expedited.
Well, the special use permit case number 2310 and rezoning case number 2308 and development service plan rezoning case number 2310. So they're sort of tied together. If you want them on an expedited, and I don't know, does any board member want to hear the presentation? If not, I'll make a motion, we go ahead and approve them on expedited. Then we have to have a public hearing.
You do have to open the public hearing.
Yeah.
Let's have a public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine, man. You know.
Good try.
We'll open the public hearing for the three items as a group. Anybody from the public?
Well, good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Jose from Innovar, representing agent for Lynn and Rick, for Lynn Rick and Christopher Rick on rezoning case 2310. That's going to be submitted in concurrence with the lot split. The owners are trying to sell to a local human 2 acres of the 5 acre total size of the property. So just want to make mention of that. So, thank you.
Anybody else from the public? I'll go ahead and close the call to the public and bring it back to the board for decision on items.
I just have one comment. Maggie, or Jesus, I just want to make sure that there's going to be an easement to be able to access those parcels once they're split in half.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, there is a provision, I believe the site plan shows an easement.
Yes.
One of them, there was an actual condition that requires that an easement be dedicated to provide access to the new parcel.
I read it. I just wanted to make sure it was out there that
All right.
we're not splitting
Can I make a
without
motion on
easement.
it?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll make a motion, we go ahead and approve items 1, 2, and 3 as presented.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second to accept items 1, 2, and 3 as presented. Any other discussion?
I wouldn't leave if I were you, eh? We haven't voted yet.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
So
carries.
obvious. All right, motion.
All right. Moving on to rezoning and regular public hearing items.
Already did it.
Yeah. Now I'll open it up for discussion.
We're done with it.
We done that item.
You gotta make that statement again.
We'll move on to discussion regarding legislative issues. And I know
Tell everyone you want to move.
Alejandro is out sick. So anything on legislative issues?
No, sir. We'll make sure you have an update when he returns.
Okay. Item number 2. Discussion and possible action, I don't know what action, related to the migrant situation at the U.S.-Mexico border. And I think this item, it was brought up just, or wanted to, we get into the weeds too much, but just to see how, if any of us have talked to any feds or state. And
I do want to make a statement on this item because I think I was part of my, sort of my push to have it open so that we could discuss some of the issues. And I was talking about the border crossing itself. I wasn't talking about the migrant population. I just want to make the statement, and it's a clear statement for me. I truly believe that's a federal issue. And every time we step into it, we become enthralled in solving the problem for the federal government. That's been my position for the years that I've been here. I've avoided it with the 10-foot pole because we keep saying it's a federal issue, but we keep bringing it up. So, whenever I travel out of town and I go to places like Washington, D.C. or Pennsylvania, wherever I go, the question is always what's going on in the migrant population. And really, to me, it takes away from the stuff that you should be known for, which is the letters and all these other issues. I do understand that the migrant issue affects the population of Yuma County, and that is we're a border county, so we deal with that issue. But as long as we keep bringing it up, continually keep bringing people to take a look at the border, without making a decision, without a full decision, without a comprehensive immigration policy, we keep doing the same thing. We keep solving the problem for the federal government. Now, we are not the ones that solve the problem. I should rephrase that. The NGOs, which in this particular case, we're very lucky to have someone like Amanda Aguirre and her people, keep solving the problem for us of the migrants being released in the streets. Now, I know that it's a big issue. I know that it's Yuma County. I know that we are continually in the eye of the storm because we're a border county. But to me, the issues that impact the county directly fast, everywhere in the county, is the crossing issues. The long lines created, the way that it looks out there with all those migrants waiting to come across. Those are issues that I think are important. I don't want to demean those issues, but I do want to make sure that we understand that what impacts the economy of Yuma County right away, it's not the people that are trying to cross at the Morales Dam or that are trying to, claim asylum. It's the long lines that are created at the border because of the time that those officers are pulled away to do something else that they're not supposed to do. I do understand all that. And I do want to tell you, I do concur with the fact that keeping the issue in front of the federal government works. Because like everything else, it reacts to the noise. It reacts to all the turmoil that's created sometimes. But I do believe that there's a point where we are somewhat overkilling the issue. I believe we reached that stage, that point, and the last time I got asked, and Supervisor Lyons, you were, I got asked you for hosting these people that are coming in. I don't know when. I think next year. We're not hosting. We, the county, is not hosting those people. The vice chairman is hosting those people, and normally they are all from one party. There's no discussion about anything else or difference of opinion expressed at these meetings. They're just coming over to make a point, to take a picture. I don't think that we advance much with that, but I do respect the fact that the vice chairman is heavily involved in that, and I want to give him all the space that he needs and he wants. But I keep telling everybody, including the mayor of Yuma, if you keep bringing it up this way, that's all that Yuma County is going to be known for.
Mr. Chairman, rarely do we have any disagreements, and I think that we're talking on the same wavelength right now. However, one of the principal reasons that I continue to shine a light on the problem is because of the challenges that we have at Yuma Regional Medical Center. The new updated tally of unreimbursed federal expenses due directly to the illegal entry and to the narcotics, specifically fentanyl, to the United States is nearing 36 million that has not been reimbursed by the federal government. It is a federal problem. They've not taken ownership. As a board member of Amberley's Place and the food bank, we continue to see the ongoing challenges and food shortages. I have worked with Sheriff to bring an additional 500,000 pounds to Yuma to relieve some of the challenges to our NGOs over the last 24 months, but specifically to address these challenges. And I will continue to work to bring federal people to Yuma until they reimburse our NGOs, until they reimburse the hospital and others, because that is our only hospital. We don't have another food bank. We don't have another Amberley's Place. And those are the ones that are suffering regardless of what the perceptions are in the community. And so I provide a forum for them to air their grievances publicly and directly to the people that can make sure that we get federal reimbursement until they take ownership. Now, Mayor Nichols and I met with Secretary Mayorkas. Secretary Mayorkas made a commitment to the mayor and myself to fill 9 of 11 gaps. So far, it is only 4. We will continue to remind him of the promise and the commitment that he made with us, with the Chief of Border Patrol, as they specifically requested to have those areas built so that they had additional tools in their toolbox in order to control the ebb and flow and the traffic. I would also remind everybody here that we have a significant narcotics and human trafficking and illicit trade at our border. It is coming in between the ports of entry and also at our port of entry. So I will continue to shine that light as long as it takes until they step up and take accountability. And I believe that we're talking about the same thing, Mr. Reyes, but I need to keep doing that.
And I want to emphasize, the asylum seekers are not the ones bringing drugs into
Less than
this country.
30% are claiming asylum.
Okay, 95%, 99%, 90-some% of the people that cross fentanyl are U.S. citizens. They do it through the port of entry. So I understand the need to keep a lookout for that. And I understand there's people that, but an asylum seeker is not going to bring drugs into this country. They have an appointment. They're going to be They're going to be searched by the Border Patrol. There's a problem. There's no denying the fact there's a problem. It's just how you approach that problem that I want to emphasize. And I want to take the time over to do something positive at this particular time. John Swan, who's been the board director for the last, 5 or 6 years, is retiring in December, and I want to take the opportunity to thank him for his service. That's one thing. The second thing is I think Senator Kelly and Senator Sinema are very well aware of what the struggle is in Yuma County, especially concerning the hospital, which has a mandate to serve anyone and everyone without looking. I think the health department, I think the health directors here understands that every time the hospital needs help, the Yuma County Health Department is really ready and willing to bring it to them at any time. So I do understand the reimbursement process. I don't look at the hospital as really one of those nonprofits that is hurting. Although I shouldn't say it that way, but I don't look at the hospital as a nonprofit that's really hurting for money. I think they handle their situations relatively well. Not that they don't need the reimbursement, but it's something that if they need some help, the Yuma County Health Department is willing to help them out. It's always been willing to help them out. Through the years that I've known the health department, it's always been able to work with the hospital when they need help.
But those are public local funds, not federal, where it needs to be. The emphasis needs to be placed.
I understand.
Mr. Chairman, right now we have 6 to 8 buses a day or airplane flights that are coming from El Paso, Texas, or Tucson directly into Yuma County. Amanda is the only NGO that has been reimbursed, who has a contract specifically with FEMA, so she can afford to do that. But the others in our community have zero reimbursement and zero recourse. So there's a significant disparity. I have spoken with Sinema. Senator Kelly will walk off the floor and take my call, but he needs the other senators to get on board, as well as the congressman, to pass something in either a farm bill or a line item specifically reimbursing Yuma County and its taxpayers for the burden of bearing this.
I want to emphasize this. Yuma County is spending very little money on whatever the border control is. Yuma County itself. I think we have bathrooms. We provide them with restrooms when they used to class over there. We don't need reimbursement. It's those people at the hospital or ambulance displays or the food bank or the emergency management system that operates within those parameters. And I agree with you. I agree 100% that problem needs to be up front and center. What I have a problem with sometimes is all this focus on the negatives of this problem, which there are very little positives of this problem, other than the fact that most of these migrants just want to come to work. I don't want to get involved in the pros and cons. I think that what you're doing is fine. I just don't want the county to be the point, the what do you call it? The arrow point, the spear. I don't want the county to be
Mr. Chairman, the other costs directly associated to the county are the cost of the coroners, where our coroner has gone out into the desert and picked up 70 plus bodies. They have to then spend their time and their resources locating the family or burying the family at county taxpayers' cost. Leon has almost $2+ million of unreimbursed federal expenses directly to him. Those costs are being borne by the county, and he's asked me to convey that to these people when they come. He's not getting reimbursed. So we have direct costs to us, or if he's being reimbursed, it's 5 to 10 cents on the dollar, which does not cover his cost. Right, and so having these conversations provides us with the opportunity to tell them that they need to own this challenge. It is a federal problem. I agree with you 100%.
All right.
Last week, I attended a meeting with, there's a member from the White House, her first time here. Actually, I believe in Arizona, because she did go to Pima County in, I don't know if Santa Cruz, but she was here. We met at Amanda's place. There was the state also there and some other people from DC. We talked about the NGOs that are not getting the money. And it's not that they're getting it. It just takes a long time like I told them, there's just too much red tape. So that process is really long, the way they're handling. But I'll tell you what, all three of them, or the three from DC, they were not aware of a lot of things that were going on in this area. So they were, they heard from all the fire departments, and well, the sheriff was not there, but I mentioned about our cost that, that we get calls from to the sheriffs that are attend out there, the officers, but every community, either the fire department, they tend to go out there, the EMTs. So that's a cost that they haven't, some of them haven't received, and so they're taking that back. Money for the NGOs. I had a very interesting conversation about the hospital. So the money that the hospital is requesting, they don't have any paperwork that they ask for them to provide. If they provide the numbers, the information that they treated that individual, they are more than glad to reimburse them. But the hospital does not have that information. And there's no way that an entity like that's going to permit someone to just walk in the door and not even get their name or some kind of information, a number, even a number.
Mr. Chairman.
Because they all issue a number at the hospital as soon as you come in.
I can address a little bit of that. They do have a $26 million auditable figure, which they've submitted.
They requested already all that information, and they haven't provided it. So
Well,
that means
perhaps I can help walk them over there and make sure that it gets taken care of. And
I mean, that's the state and the feds.
To the degree that people are treated, they're treated on a level of acuteness. So when they come in, but there's no place to track them to, there's no place to refer them to, especially when they're there with Border Patrol.
But there is a number, and that's all the state is asking. The state and the feds are asking for some
Can we direct,
information.
Mr. Chairman, can we direct staff to work with those specific people and the hospital to make sure that that gap is closed?
You see, that's using county resources. I think the county, the hospital, it's a nonprofit organization, and if they want their money back, that's not us. It's them working with the state, and the state is asking them legal information.
The state or the federal?
Both of them.
Okay.
The state and the feds, so they can get reimbursed.
Well, for the
Reimbursed.
state, I can
They
speak to the
provide
fact
that.
that they said under the Medicare, Medicaid, they were only going to reimburse them $8,000 because the other window had closed.
Well, I think this is what I heard from the state, so they've asked them that information.
So let's close the
They're
gap.
not-
I'm willing to make that happen. If you'll provide me that contact, I'll make sure to walk that directly to those people.
Can we focus a little bit more on something we have a little more, I think?
No, but I'm just saying that,
I'm
I
saying- I
think
understand
the
what you're
hospital can really defend, and get that money if they want to, but they were asked for some information, they need to provide it, and that's it. We
I
can,
want to
you know,
focus on the agricultural side of this thing.
But
which
I
is
think,
getting-
And I didn't even mention the agricultural.
on the line, and this is why we were talking, this item is here on the agenda. They took some officers from the line there, from CBP, and helping Border Patrol process. The majority of the asylum seekers, they're bringing them from Tucson or other areas. So there's very few that are even crossing here. Very few that cross through Yuma County. So, my thing is, people are already, fed up with those long lines, and they wait 3 to 4 hours or 5 hours to come back. I know it was personnel issue, but Mexicali, Nogales, other places, they don't have that issues. It's only here. So I am not gonna thank the director. Because I don't think he has.
I think he's
done a great
retiring,
job.
and I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that
He
he's
should
retired.
retire.
Been there.
He should have been retired a long time ago.
No, I wanted to highlight one thing. We at the county, I think in Yuma County, understand that this is a federal issue and understand the need for the federal government to handle it the way they should, the way they promise, the way they talk all the time about handling their federal issue. I particularly think that in this county, we're united in putting that message forth. I think that the discussion we're having right now it's about whether the county itself is responsible for a lot of this stuff. And I guess at some particular point, if the sheriff has a $2.5 million deficit, I'd like to know, right? Because, we're going to have to deal with this at budget time. If there is a cost that the hospital has, the hospital can, I think, handle it themselves. But I don't want Yuma County to be seen as this county where all these things are happening without us paying attention. I think we're paying attention. I think you're paying especially attention. I think you're bringing in a lot of big hitters that are going to bring notice with them. It's just that I think that we need to balance this a little bit and talk about what the county itself is responsible for, what we're responsible for through the emergency services, what we're responsible for, what we spend and get reimbursed on. If the sheriff, if the coroner's office, if any of these entities are expending extra money that they can prove that they wouldn't spend because of this particular problem, then I think they should bring it up so we can add to that request.
Mr. Chairman, I would say as my last thought concerning this matter, I probably receive multiple texts, emails, calls, and private conversations from our constituents on a daily basis, and my communication today is a direct reflection of everything that they've shared with me. And I have a responsibility as an elected supervisor to convey those concerns to each and every one of those people that will listen, and also to share those concerns in a public forum with the other supervisors, because they're not happy about the way that our community has been treated, and they're not happy about bearing the burdens across all. Amanda told me personally that she would much rather get back to treating people medically instead of transporting, and doesn't want to do it anymore, but only does it because we need to get people out of the community so we don't have street releases like we have seen recently in other areas of southeastern Arizona.
No, maybe we should talk to them on that and say, well, stop doing what you're doing. Maybe they're.
But then they'll be left in the community.
Well, but maybe that will step up, make them step up.
Who knows?
Mr. Chairman, if that's what the last thing you're going to say, then I'm going to say one last thing. When I was the chairman, I called both the mayors of San Luis and Somerton and asked them if they were in a crisis mode. Is there anything we can do to help them? Both of them answered they're not. They weren't. Actually, there were not people being released on the streets. They didn't have an emergency we could deal with. Declaring an emergency last time was because of Title 42. Let's remember that. That was the only time that the Yuma County has ever declared an emergency because of this, because the county itself, although we have that issue and we have that problem, it wasn't really out in San Luis and Somerton. It was mostly out in the town, which was nearer to Yuma than anywhere else. But I do agree this is a problem. I do agree it's a federal problem, and I do agree that it needs to be brought forth. And I didn't mean, so I like to have this item removed from the agenda. All it does is highlight the fact that we have differences. It doesn't, I don't think there's any particular point in the arguments that we're making that separate us. I think that there's a lot of stuff that unite us, and I think that you convey them well most of the time. But those times that you don't, I don't think that this is necessary. I think that if I was pushing this item, it was because I needed to talk about the long borderways and all those issues that have more to do with the economic impact of all this that is happening in Yuma County. But the human impact, the fiscal impact, and some of these entities, to me, it's pretty obvious. And I do appreciate the fact that somebody else is bringing it up, because it takes from us doing it. It sometimes, I think, seems to me a little tilted, but even at that particular point, I still believe that there should be a voice talking about this. So let's just move on with this, because I think we're just going to spend a lot of time.
No, and I think, Supervisor Lyons is right. Every time to relate that message to the feds, that's great. But I think, honestly, on my behalf, I think the hospital can defend themselves. And I think that they got enough money to even hire a lobbyist if they want to and be discussing it with the feds every day. But also, I think we need to be cautious on how, at least on the county side, we get pilled. And that, there's no redirection from the feds on how to use that money. So they can really send us something and say, well, here, we give you so much money, why don't you use that money? So that's, we gotta be careful. I know on the SCAP, we get, maybe 10 cents to $1, which is not enough, but that's, I think, the item that we should be bringing to them and saying, hey, this is money for any illegal alien and or anything out there in the desert, I believe. So I think that's the item that really needs to be, because if, every county gets that money, the PILT. So then they don't tell us how to use it. We use it as we want to, but they can easily say, here, this is how you're gonna use part of it. And so we just let's be careful. Let's be careful on that. So I would say, all right, enough of that.
And we didn't even talk about the agriculture industry that permits to cross the border at long nights in the morning.
But Mr. Chairman, the agricultural sustained more than $1 million in losses last year of illegal entry. And we're providing, as a county, the poopers out on the levee road so that people will stay there.
No, we are working with that. I mean, I think that's an unavoidable issue. Yuma County agriculture is...
That's our number one economic base.
Yes.
And driver. Wouldn't do any good to get people across the border if they don't have a field to go to.
All right. Events, calendar, and current events.
Okay, here we go.
We saw the mix today. We're gonna see the mix on the board too. I'm gonna start. We're gonna shuffle. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't shuffle.
Go for it.
Like a breather before we have to start.
Okay,
Go
I'm
ahead,
ready.
Liz. Go ahead.
Okay. I attended a U of A summit in DC about some of the medical experiments and studying that they're doing at the U of A was amazing. So what their research they're doing at U of A. I attended the YMPL meeting, and then I missed a bunch because of COVID, but I attended Arizona at Work, the provider meetings via Zoom, and I drove to Phoenix and attended the BioSolid stakeholder meeting with Tim Dunn and people from around the state. I attended the Forefront ED Tourism Forum and attended a PM10 meeting.
Did you attend the groundbreaking ceremony?
Huh?
Did you attend the groundbreaking ceremony?
Yeah, I attended the groundbreaking. Sorry, I attended groundbreaking ceremony. Thank you.
Well, who's next?
A lot of what she said.
I'd like to add a couple of things in my case. One is the San Luis Founders Day Parade. It was lonely on the boat. I couldn't fish anything, but I was in the boat by myself.
Oh,
so.
good. Thank you. I'm glad you went to that.
Yeah. So that was one. I went to Washington, D.C. last week. While it wasn't a pleasurable trip, I think it highlighted the fact that affordable housing is becoming an issue countrywide. It's not just in Yuma County, because we do have issues with that. But the discussions about rural development and their population counts and what they can do and can help and where they can't help were interesting, to say the least. I think that South County, San Luis, and some are going to get into the point where they may be a little bit on the edge of that designation, that rural designation. And it's not specific to the fact of the population, but it's just specific to the fact that growing so much, they're starting to get adjacent to a metropolitan area, which is Yuma, and it's becoming an issue nationwide. So I'd say that we need to start paying a little closer attention and maybe help our smaller communities understand just how difficult that could be. Rural development happens to be one of the very few sources right now that people have on developing in those areas. So that's, I think that I'm going to leave it at that. I did have I shouldn't have said I want to leave it at that, and then moved on to something like the Vision Group, which is where we discuss issues that have to do with the border, but I attended one of those. I hosted one of those.
Does that mean I get to say something else, Mr. Chairman?
I'm not going to say anything else. I said I was going to say anything else, then I went on and said I hosted a Vision Group meeting.
Mr. Simmons.
Mr. Simmons.
Met with the subject in Mesa del Sol area, reference a retention basin issue, an election advisory board meeting, the Zoom with the Yuma County Community Wildfire Protection Plan, just kind of updating it. Had the county admin groundbreaking, stopped by Pat Headington's retirement luncheon. They were roasting him pretty well at that.
He took care of that when he came in today. He roasted us.
At a facilities meeting, meeting with Facilities Reference Parks, Yuma County Construction Board, met with DDS Health Department and Foothills Utilities over an issue which is going to need some quick attention, reference to El Rancho Encantado subdivision, as far as their sewer service. Held 2 community meetings in the foothills as well. That's it.
All right.
They got you busy, huh?
I attended that Forefronted Tourism Forum too. It was a lot of information on tourism. That was great to hear. The YMPO, I was at the groundbreaking.
It's gonna be in the Veterans Day, right?
New building coming up. And that's it. Again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A few things, I think I'd just do this under a minute. GYEDC Board of Directors meeting, quarterly managers lunch. Served as a judge for the YRMC Quality Hall of Fame. Dinah Gomez also was a judge. Met with our auditors that were here. Elections Advisory Commission meeting. GYEDC Investor Luncheon, groundbreaking ceremony, YSIPTA Board meeting, quarterly management team meeting. MOU signing ceremony with Forefront ED. I think a couple of you were at that as well.
Oh, yes, I went to that, yeah.
Arizona at Work monthly meeting, met with Welton Town Manager Richard Marsh. Domestic violence awareness event outside of the main library, met with Jerry Cabrera of Elevate Southwest. Alejandro and I met with Chamber Executive Director Kimberly Call, excuse me. Served as a panelist in 2 sessions at the ACMA's Next Generation Conference, and joined the library's book nerds team with the Alzheimer's Walk this weekend.
Oh, good.
I do want to mention the mayor attended, the former mayor, excuse me, the supervisor, the chairman supervisor, attended the mayor's international bike ride. That's to be commended right there. Just the bravery it took to attend.
25 miles in a unicycle.
And we do have Veterans Day Parade. Is anybody here thinking of attending the Veterans Day Parade?
Uh-huh.
So that's on Saturday?
That's on Saturday.
Probably up the one out in Welton.
Ah,
Thanksgiving's coming up.
All right.
I like that one. I wish we could throw candy, though.
No, we're good.
Sorry.
Turn.